So here we are. Today is the day we are moving the pond. All right, so Rowena's coming later this afternoon to help me actually shift the pond, because there's really no way I can do it. I mean, I might be able to manage it, but I'd rather have someone else help. So in the meantime, what I've got to do is actually get rid of, move, I should say, all of the plants and the shrimp and the water. I don't want to lose the water. And there's sand underneath there as well, and I need to move all of that. So I didn't want them all hanging around in pots for a day or two. I wanted it all done on one day. So paving is all done, and no problems. We'll get this sorted. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm emptying the pond and taking out all this Valsinaria. I have so much of it that it is just unbelievable, and water lilies can't grow through it. I've lost about 15 water lilies because of it. So I'm also emptying out the water, which of course has got the shrimp in it, and I need to move them so that it's all done on one day. I don't want the water getting hot or changing the pH of the water, and so that's why it's all got to be done on one day. So I know it doesn't look it, but I am being gentle. Now these are some of the plants. So this is Nadu. Now this particular one is very fluffy and has a little red dot in it, and it becomes very thick, and a lot of plants can't grow through it, so hence I'm getting rid of it. I do actually prefer the miniature Nadu. Again, it can be a bit thick, but I do find that I prefer the miniature one. So that there, the reedy looking plant is actually called redroot, and the little plant I'm looking there now, that's Syzygium, and that grew so big. It's actually a tree, and it grew so big that it actually started to push down our back fence, and we had to end up having it cut down. So what I'm looking for here in the middle is I've got two baskets. They're window boxes, and I'm just cutting them in half. The window boxes have got little hooks, curved hooks, which help to hang off of this type of pond, which are very good for that. I'll show you this in a minute. So of course I'll clean all of this up, and then it will eventually go into the other pond. So this is the little window boxes I use. This one's probably about 2 years old, and it's only now just started to rust. I don't particularly like using metal in the ponds, but there are times when unfortunately it's the only thing that is available. So it works very well, as you can see. Now I've deliberately doing a voiceover on this, just in case you're wondering, because there happens to be two council lawnmowers, huge lawnmowers out in the park, and you can't hear me, so I've done it this way. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually scooping up my shrimp, and I've taken out a lot of the sand from the bottom of here, and now I'm just taking out the last of the sludge. I want to keep all of this and re-put it back into the pond. So Rowena has turned up, which is absolutely fantastic, to help me with moving this pond. She always likes to do something different, so that's what happens when she comes to my place. But I must admit there are times when I can't do without her. So it's really, really handy to have a good friend who will come along and help. So what we're doing there was actually, we've cleaned off the bottom of the pond because it had a lot of mud on it, which then made it heavy. And just dragging it through, as you can see. Now this is the paving that I'd done before to be ready for this. And we're just going to position it and make sure that we're happy with it. And then what we're going to be doing is actually making sure that it's level with the water. So we're going to put a small amount of water in, just to sort of see where the level of the water is. I need it to overflow onto the left-hand side of the pond, so that it's not going to overflow on the right, which is where I've put a brand new vine in. This piece of wood is a piece of cedar wood, and it has been in the garden for about 10 years and nothing has eaten it. And we have termites in this place and they don't go near it. So we're just putting that underneath just to ensure that it goes left. Now that little black dot that you can see at the beginning of the rounded edge of that pond, that is actually an overflow pipe, which I can undo if I wish. So of course we've put all the sand back. We're now putting back our shrimp, and I'm amazed that these things survived the treatment that I gave them, but they did. It is amazing. And so now what I'm doing is putting the half of the Valsenaria into here, and I will be washing it, shushing it around and just making sure that there's no shrimp attached to it. And then I shall be using it as mulch. I shall be dumping it, because as I say, I have so much of it that I can't possibly grow any water lilies in here because of it. There are little black blobs. You may not be able to see them on a mobile phone, but there's little tiny black blobs floating around. They're actually dead water lilies. Such a shame. You can see the pond behind where I'm working at the moment. That's my lotus pond. I've actually done a video on that, several videos actually. You can see the willow behind it that is framing it. I will be doing that around this particular pond as well. And there'll be another video to come with that. And then at a later date, I will also be doing another video on this pond, where I will be putting a water lily in and some other plants. Now, talking about plants, these are the ones that have come out of it. Going to go back in. That was a buttercup. This is a beautiful little Sagittarius, which I thought I had lost. So I'm so pleased to find them. They do actually grow quite big. There we are. There's some photos of it. I don't actually have an adult plant at the moment, so I've had to sort of snicker a photo for you. I don't know the name of it, so if anybody happens to know it, that would be great. Now this one is a little tiny Australian native. That's my big one, and this is a little tiny one. And if I can find the names for these, I will put it up in the video. So again, some more buttercup. I do love buttercup. We don't get any flowers, but I do love having it there. And then again, this is my red root. Unfortunately, I have tried to find a photo for you, but one of my hard drives died, and it took thousands of photos with it, and that seems to have been one of them. Now this is a mixture of buttercup and pink flamingo. I'll be keeping the buttercup, and the pink flamingo is going to go into the pickerel bed, which is another video coming for you, so that you can see that. So now we had a bit of a problem here trying to keep this up because it's so big and heavy, trying to keep the bloodroot up. Red root, sorry. We had to end up putting a besser brick in there for it to stand on with another brick underneath it. Now you have to use old besser bricks. I'm doing the same over on the left hand side in a moment to help with the little flower pot that I've got there. Now you need to use old besser bricks because of the lime that concrete exudes out, and it will change your pH of the water and send it too high. So to also help with keeping that particular plant up, Rowena tied the pot with wire to another besser brick further down, just to give it some extra weight. And here I'm putting some rocks on my large clumps of Valsenaria because they kept floating. So here we are, we're finally finished, and I'm going to be placing, as I say, the willow around the base of that, and that shall be another video. And I personally happen to think that when you see the finished article, it looks very smart.